Welcome to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. My name is Todd. My co host is Brian. You are back. The Flashes are back here at home. It's homecoming week. The St. Joseph Academy Flashes will be taking on 2-1 Legacy Charter coming out of Ocoee, Florida. Looking at them on tape, seeing this very, very long roster, they've got a lot of cats and a lot of guys who've put up some real numbers. Brian, I'm excited for you to kind of catch up on where the Flashes are and see these guys play tonight. They've been incorporating a two-quarterback system with both Fields as well as Duke Ridley. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
And I'm looking forward to it too. It's always great to be back here. I was with you, as some of our viewing and listening audience may know, for our preseason kickoff, which was a victory for the Flashes. So I'm hoping to bring us some luck tonight. Little nervous when we see, as you said, the size of the rosters. We're holding in our hands a two-page roster. They've got 15 seniors, which is almost as many players as the Flashes are dressing tonight. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of size, running and passing stats. So I think the Flashes are going to have their hands full with a 2-1 team on the field against them tonight.
So, talking to head coach Tom Dickerson on Wednesday night, his own observation of this team, of Legacy Charter, was that they are running a very similar offense and a very similar defense to what the Flashes want to run. And he talked to his quarterbacks this week about the fact that what that quarterback is doing is what's happened when you've been in this particular offense for 3 or 4 years. What's been fun to watch is the growth and the development of this Flashes offense over the last few weeks. Duke Ridley has really come on as a passer, as a runner. We've seen Ryan Fields continue to grow as a passer, and I've enjoyed watching really them work in tandem, and then seeing Fields jump over to tight end sometimes and go out for passes. It's been fun to watch. The Flashes actually won the toss, but they deferred to the second half, so they will be kicking off to start this football game. And it's going to be a good one. We've got a beautiful night here from Versailles Field. We've got a great crowd that includes not only St. Joseph Academy students, but also Cathedral Parish School students. And we've got bleachers over there on the visitor sideline. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
I think so too, and you really hit on it, Todd. You don't always measure a team and a program by wins and losses. This is setting up to be a growth year. We've got two seniors on the team, so we've got a very young team. We've got a first-year coach who really seems committed to investing in and building a program. So you measure the success 1 week at a time. I've got the benefit of being able to see them 4 weeks apart, and I'm excited to see what shows up on the field tonight.
Well, knowing as I did and as I do that you were watching intently to the live stream last week and listening to the broadcast on WSOS 103.9 and then switching every once in a while over to StAugustineRadio.com so you could get the best coverage wherever you were. You saw the heartbreak in the loss that the Flashes took last week down in Deltona, Florida against Trinity Christian. They were down 7-6 with just over 2 minutes to play and had a potentially game-winning field goal blocked. Fought hard on defense, got the ball back, drove it down, and dealt with some adversity, some concerns about calls here and there on a fourth down play and the like. But this team has practiced well all week. Their attitude in the film room was one of, hey, we know we've got to get better. It never should have been that close. And I think they're excited about coming out and showing that growth tonight.
And adversity brings growth. Adversity demands a response. So we're going to learn something about this young Flashes team tonight, one way or the other, and how they respond to that very difficult loss last week. A game that they could have won, and many might say should have won.
So we're going to see them on defense first. They're lined up to kick off right now. Abram Wilson appears to be the man to get things started. Flashes in the black jerseys tonight, white pants, white helmets, kicking off from left to right. It is a low, just end-over-end kick, and that is going to be returned out to about the 40-yard line. It was kind of like a modified squib kick, worm burner maybe if we were playing golf.
Squib is the term I would have used for that one.
So the Flashes run their defense out on the field. It's going to be first down and 10 for the Legacy Charter Eagles. Their head coach is Trent Hopper. They are led by a senior quarterback named Jaden Colin. He's throwing at about a 66 to 67% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he's also been their leading rusher this year with 28 carries. So I believe we're going to see number 4 a lot. His backfield mate is Gabriel Gomez, who's got 2 touchdowns on the year as well. They start out with 4 wide receivers in the formation and a shotgun. This formation right here with a modified tight end or slot receiver is what we've seen out of most teams all year long. I think this is that kind of that modified spread offense we see all over colleges. He takes the snap and he's going to run it on first down, goes straight up the middle and picks up about 9 yards. That's the quarterback, Jaden Colin.
And that's what I love about the spread. The spread is effective because you've got the defense thinking that you're going to pass. You spread 4 wide receivers out. They've got to spread 4 defenders out, plus, in this case, 1 safety, but sometimes 2. That opens up the middle of the field.
Same formation. This time the handoff to Gomez. Gomez tries to find some room around the left side. He's going to pick up about 8 yards on the play. That'll be a first down. 11:22 to go in the first quarter. This is the opening possession of the ball game for the Eagles. Eagles 2-1 on the season. They opened the year with a loss to Avant-Garde Academy, but have now had back-to-back big wins by a grand total of 93-7 over Cornerstone and Oasis High School, which is down in Cape Coral, Florida, where I grew up. Same formation here. Colin with the snap, fires this one out to the right. He's got Colby McClure, who's going to pick up about 8 yards on the play, but a flag comes out late, and I think this one's coming back.
It's going to be a hold
has been called against the Eagles, and what was an 8-yard gain is going to turn into a 10-yard loss.
Nice design play there. You've got a slot receiver who's off the line. You've got a receiver outside who's on the line. That outside receiver, typically on the quick pass to the slot receiver, has an assignment purely to block the guy in front of the slot. You're trying to then put your slot receiver into space, going one-on-one on the cornerback. An effective play, but unfortunately they had to hold. You really don't have to hold on that play because it is a one-step drop and a quick pass, but nobody told the holder that.
It's going to be first down and 19 from the Eagles' own 45-yard line. Inside 11 minutes to play in the first. Colin is going to keep it. He goes right up the middle, and he's going to get about 8 of those yards back that they lost on the penalty. We're going to be calling his name all night.
Without a doubt, and again, great play design. You've got first and long, obvious passing situation. I love running it when they think you're going to pass and passing it when they think you're going to run. But until we can stop it, I think we're going to see a ton of that spread formation middle run.
2nd down and 12. The Eagles are now in Flash's territory. Jaden Colin takes the snap. He rolls right, looks downfield, throws it, and that one is going to be nearly intercepted in and out of the hands of Duke Ridley.
Duke had it in his hands, hit the ground. I don't know, Todd. You might be too young to remember Jabbar Gaffney for the Gators a few years ago against Tennessee, where he caught the ball long enough for his feet to touch the ground in the end zone. Very controversial touchdown for the Gators.
Against Tennessee, who they'll be playing this weekend.
Correct.
3rd and 12. Ball is sitting on the Flash's 48.5-yard line. Colin takes the snap. He looks left, comes back over the middle. He's got a wide receiver wide open. That is Jaden Oyala, and he's going to go all the way for the score.
So you saw an empty formation there. Trips left, twins to the right with no back in the backfield. Again, that's a great opportunity to set us up for the run. But when they've done the spread and the inside runs, it's hard to cover 5 guys if you can pass protect it for it. It was a skinny post. We missed a tackle 20, 25 yards from the line of scrimmage. It was going to be a big gainer anyway. But I really like the look of this offense so far from Legacy Charter.
Well, if we project this out into the future and say this is the kind of offense that head coach Tom Dickerson wants to run, then that is good. When you're head coach Tom Dickerson now, it is not so good as your defense gives up a score on the opening drive. Jackson Adams, the junior kicker, He connects on his 12th consecutive point after attempt. It is good. Both teams are going to get lined up for the kickoff. We're going to stay right along with you here as we set up the first offensive drive for the Flashes. I do want to step back, though, and talk about this Legacy Charter offense. Here's a third down and long, and maybe a great learning opportunity for this Flashes defense. Jaden Oyala, who made that catch, is the leading receiver, and he was wide open in the middle of the field. Whether a safety was supposed to come up and pick him up or a corner dropped him too soon, you can't leave the best guy open on third down and long.
No, and that's a young team, a young defense. There was tremendous turnover, not just with the head coach, but with the coaching staff. So you're putting in a new offense, a new defense with a lot of new players. Granted, we're 4 games into the season now, but you're going to expect those things in a transition year. Over time, hopefully, those are things that we're going to clean up.
Without a doubt. So right now the Flashes are going to get ready for the kickoff return.
Onside kick formation
It
with an
is
uneven, unbalanced set. The ball moved a little bit right of center, and 6 guys on the left and 4 on the right.
the punter, Michael Legacy, is going to kick this one off. And he puts a charge into it, which Duke Ridley is going to catch at his own 20. He's out across the 30, and he's got some room to run. He'll get out to the 42-yard line. A nice 21-yard return by Duke Ridley.
I like from the very beginning, and Duke has really grown as a football player over the last several years, but I like from the very beginning how he put his hands out and he caught that ball. They always teach receivers to catch with your hands, not your body. So he came up, came to the ball, squeezed it with both hands, tucked it, and ran through in between 2 potential tacklers. And this is nice starting field position for the Flashes.
So Ryan Fields and Duke Ridley both in the backfield. It looks like Fields is in at quarterback. He's got 3 receivers to his left, 1 to the right. Surveying the defense now, waiting for the officials to get the chains all set up and good to go. 9:52 to go in the first quarter. The Eagles of Legacy Charter lead this one 7-0.
Big gap in between the center receiver and the defender in front of him. That's something to keep an eye on for one of those quick passes.
Fields rolls left and never really got his feet set to throw. He was being pursued aggressively by Kyle Dorsey, and he's going to be dropped for the sack back at the 40-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 13.
That's a big compliment in the offensive coaching staff in Ryan Fields to roll him left. That's a difficult throw, rolling left and throwing against your body. So the fact that with a first-year quarterback, they believe in his ability to make that throw says something.
Fields was a real leader on campus this week for homecoming week. He's been taking over morning announcement duties, speaking to all the student body, and also did a great job leading his seniors in a couple of events this afternoon. He and Duke Ridley are in the backfield. Ridley is behind him. They're going to give it to Duke. Duke is going to bust his way off the left side, broke the initial tackle, picks up about 4 yards on the play. He'll get just beyond the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and a long 9.
So the Flashes 2 plays in a row have had trips to the field side, the side with the more space. And that time they took a page out of the playbook of their opponent by spreading them out and then doing the inside run.
Similar formation. Trips to the right, 1 man to the left. Here's the snap to Fields. Fields going to roll right. Nice block by Ridley. Puts this one up in the air and overthrows his receiver. Looks like the intended target was Abram Wilson.
Good to
just
see Abram
over
back
his head.
there. I don't think Abram was out there the first time I was here.
So you missed him the very first game. He really has been an enlightened player over the course of the last 3 weeks. So athletic, so quick. He's been catching the ball well, moves well in space, and he got open there on 3rd down. They weren't able to connect. Looked like he may have pulled off the route a little bit or flattened that route late, but he really has become a feature target for both of these quarterbacks.
And for good reason. He had a great season last year, elected not to play spring football, and I was working here at the time and said, boy, the team could really use you. I'm glad that he had a change of heart along the way because he's got great speed. He's a good athlete. As you said, that wasn't a bad thrown ball.
Oh, that punt is nearly blocked, and that is going to hit a Flashes Returner and kick back. A flag comes out late. Now the head referee who was in the back, we got a personal foul. Ooh, looks like this is going to be a roughing the kicker penalty.
It's going to be a first down for the Flashes.
Now, I initially thought that punt may have been blocked. It looks like he got it away and then was hit pretty hard.
I would be arguing from the opposite sideline that it was blocked because I agree it looked the same. Of course, the refs are a lot closer than we are, and clearly we're wrong on this one, Todd.
8:12 to go in the first quarter. I don't mind being wrong when it benefits the Flashes. They're down 7-0, but they are going to keep the football, or so it appears.
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing the defense back out for the Eagles.
So where they're spotting the football, though, seems just a little strange.
Very generous.
I'm wondering if this isn't going to end up being that personal foul was called as a dead ball and that the Eagles are going to retain possession. And they are. They sprint up to the line. They've got the ball at their own 34-yard line. 8:12 to go in here in this first quarter. Quarterback Jaden Colin, alone in the backfield. He's got 4 wide receivers, but he's going to run it. He goes off the left side. He's picked up some solid yards on first down. He'll step out of bounds at the 42. It's going to be 2nd down and 1.
Really beautifully blocked by the Eagles offensive line. We tell our youth football players, turn your butt towards the hole and just drive the guy on the gap away from the hole from you, and they followed that to a T. The only thing, Todd, I can think of is that maybe that personal foul wasn't a roughing the kicker. Maybe it simply happened after the kick, and it was a true block.
And that's what it appears. 5 wide receivers in the formation, empty backfield, high snap. Collins going to keep it, and he's going to be sacked way back at the 31-yard line. That would be our man Nathaniel Kess on the sack.
And Nathaniel Kess is such a leader on this defense and also a leader in the school. I trained him as a Eucharistic minister before he left. And one of the great things I love about St. Joe is when your leaders on the football field are also leaders, not just on the campus, but in the spirituality of the school. One of the things that makes St. Joe so special is that openness to God in every aspect of our lives.
Eagles lead 7-0 with just under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. They're facing a 3rd down and 11 from their own 32-yard line. Here's the snap. Drops back to pass. Puts some air on this one. He's got a receiver. It is complete at the plus 30. A big gain on 3rd down for the 2nd possession in a row.
So there was that empty formation again. This time, once again, they had trips to the left, twins to the right. They went to the slot receiver on the right side, and that's a great chemistry between the quarterback and the receiver. That's the quarterback believing in the receiver, because at the time he released the ball, the defensive back was stride for stride with him, and the receiver just made a great break on the ball, and he must have put 2.5 yards of distance in between himself and the cornerback when the ball was in the air.
3 wide receivers to the near side of the field. Here's the snap, though, and Colin's going to keep it. He goes right up the middle. A flag comes out right up the middle as well.
Almost definitely a hold, and it is.
Gain of about 6 yards on the play, but that one's going to come back.
Nathaniel Kess absolutely flying to the ball on that play. And again, from an offensive perspective, if you can't stop it, we're going to keep throwing it at you. We're not going to do it every play, but every third play, we're going to come at you, keep you off balance by throwing some of those passes. I don't think we've seen a single outside run outside of the tackles tonight, have we, Todd?
Only the one. Gabriel Gomez had the one run that came around here to the left side. They didn't get a whole lot out of it. He's been at the wide receiver position for the majority of the last drive after that first run. They're going to stay with this empty set. 5 wide receivers. Now 3 of them out to the wide side of the field. One man comes in motion, overloading the left side. They're going to throw it that way, but a whistle and a flag comes out. We're going to get a motion penalty here on the Eagles.
I don't see it. I don't. Maybe it was a lineman that moved, but wow, what a beautifully designed play. Trips to the field side. And so you've got 3-on-3 defenders. The Flashes did not send a defender over with the motion guy. So you've got a body on every defender, a short, very catchable pass. Love the play design. That was going to be something big unless one of the Flashes blew through one of those blocks and made a play.
We're at the 6-minute mark. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a water break here, but they are going to play through it. The Eagles were huddled up about 15 yards behind the ball. They now sprint up to the line. Plenty of time on the play clock. 5 wide receivers in the formation. Jaden Collin, the senior quarterback, is going to throw this one. He's got an open man on the right. That's Colby McClure again. He's got a couple of catches on the night, and he's going to pick up a whole lot of that penalty yardage back. It's going to be second down and about 13.
Got about 12 yards, so on first and forever, they got half of it. I mean, I'm a Flashes fan to the core, but this is a fun offense to watch, Todd. It is a glimpse, hopefully, into the future, an inspiration if you like good football.
Jaden Colin drops back to pass again. He's got time. He's got a man, and he overthrows him right down the seam. That one's incomplete. 5:04 to play. Another third down here for the Eagles. Flash's defense has given up some long passes, really to the two key receivers. So find number 9, find number 10, lock them down, and let's force them to make a play elsewhere.
We had a blitzing linebacker. It was Nathaniel Kessigan who knocked the quarterback off of his feet, got in there fast. I like that aggressiveness. The downside against the empty backfield when you send a linebacker is somebody's probably going to be open, probably in the middle of the field. It was a good ball. He just missed the receiver on that one.
Gabriel Gomez comes back in at the running back position. Twins to either side. Third down and 12. Colin rolls left. He's under pressure. Reverses field. He's got blockers in front. He's going to throw it. That's going to be McClure, who's knocked out of bounds at the 27, shy of the first down. It's going to be third and about 5 yards.
Credit to the Flashes.
Fourth and about 5 yards.
Credit to the Flashes defense on the left side of the defense. Oftentimes when a quarterback rolls left and then comes back to the right, that left defensive end or linebacker can get caught up in some of that junk trying to flow to the ball, but they stayed home that time.
Big spot for a water break. That's going to give the Eagles time to think about this fourth down. We're going to take 30 seconds to grab some water of our own. We'll be right back on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. All right, so it's homecoming here at Versaghi Field at St. Joseph Academy. The St. Joe Flashes are taking on the Legacy Charter Eagles. We're inside 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Eagles lead 7-0. They've got a fourth down and 5 in Flashes territory, and they're going for it. They put a man in motion. That'll be 3 wide receivers over on the right side, and it looks like one of the Flash linemen may have jumped off sides. And that is, in fact, the call. Now, it's not going to be an automatic first down, but it is going to be close.
And, give credit again to the Eagles on fourth and...
Nope, they are giving them the first. They're waving the chains down.
It's worth a try on 4th and 5. See if you can get a defense to jump.
Well,
we got to be more disciplined.
So it's now 1st and 10 from the 21, knocking on the door of the red zone. Here's the snap. The handoff goes to Gomez. Gomez around the right. He bullies his way inside the 15-yard line. Contact at the 20, and the pile just sort of moved 5 yards.
Todd, you may not be aware of this, but the Gators played Alabama last week.
They did. I saw the game.
Terrific teams, close game. And the Gators gave them several first downs on penalties in the first quarter. Big Alabama lead. You can't give a good team first downs.
They also struggled to make the tackles in the open field, especially in the flats. And here we go. We've got a pass thrown out to the flat, but the Flashes do a nice job. Duke Ridley makes the tackle.
Todd, that wasn't an invitation to make fun of the Gators. That was trying to tie in a moment that happened on this field to something that happened in the football game.
No, there wasn't making fun. It was a concern early on in that game. You take a few of those early swing passes that turned into big gains away, and what became a comeback may actually have just been a Gator opportunity to win a game.
I'll give you that. Although the Flash's tackling tonight hasn't been bad.
All right, 3:20 to play. Colin throws this one to the end zone. He's got a receiver, but overthrows him. It's going to be 4th down and 3 for the Eagles. Decision time. They've yet to kick a field goal this year, but Jackson Adams has been really solid as a point after attempt guy.
No, they're going for it here. No chance they kick. Love the route. That's a route we haven't seen yet, or at least I haven't noticed. A stop and go route. It's kind of a traditional old school route. You go out 5 yards, you pump fake. He's just across the line. Pull in that cornerback and then go deep. Cornerback responded pretty well to it.
4 wide receivers. Gomez in the backfield. Colin's going to keep it. He goes right up the middle. He's going to go all the way down to the 6-yard line. Not only is it a first down, but they're now 1st and goal.
Number 79 for the Eagles. Got to give him credit for the pancake block in the backfield. Jaden, we're going to go with Batoni, but really big guy.
5'8", 202.
Okay, looks bigger than he is. Got a lot of girth on that 5'8" frame, but put our guy on his rear end.
1st and goal. Handoff to Gomez. Gomez is going to bounce this one outside. He's going to be met by a whole group of Flashes who take him down. He's going to pick up a yard. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 3. Inside 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Eagles already lead 7-0. Flash's defense needs a stop here.
Speaking of a lot of girth on a short frame, shout out to G11, our resource officer who's with us tonight. I'm totally kidding, of course. Not about the short frame part, but G11 is jacked, and the kids love him for it. Taking up surfing with our friend Ted B. and Cooley, who's up here in the booth with us today. Fans, maybe you'll catch him out on the beach this weekend.
You know, Brian's been away from the headset in the booth for a couple of weeks. I think he's feeling it being back up here. 4 wide receivers in the formation. Colin's feeling it as well. He's going to keep it. Goes off the left side. He breaks 2 tackles on his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. That'll put 13 points on the board with 1:55 to go in the first quarter.
And I have a feeling I might not be back for a few more weeks after tonight.
Well, the Flashes are going to be on the road for the next 3 or 4 weeks. They do have one more home game to close out the season. We'll see if you'll be invited back for that game. That's going to depend on how successful the Flashes are in closing the gap here in their next possession.
You know, it's homecoming night. There's a celebratory spirit in the air.
Well, we are glad that you came home for this game. Brian was the campus minister here at St. Joseph Academy for nearly 20 years and recently took over as the principal of Cathedral Parish School. So I'm standing next to a principal. That's pretty cool.
So am I.
Got to respect that. Flag comes out on the point after attempt.
Could that be a substitution infraction? They did have a guy come from the sideline to line up. You don't always see that called in high school.
It looks like one player is...
He might have been the 12th guy on the
very
field.
Very quickly
he's
jogging away.
Now.
So that's going to make this a more difficult extra point. They're going to back this one up 5 yards.
The penalty was 12 men on the field.
Jackson Adams is the kicker. It looks like Liam Lamprecht, who's the backup quarterback, is your holder. He's got one knee on the 15-yard line. Still trying to get their special teams offensive line all straightened out. Here's the snap, the placement, the kick is up, plenty of leg, and it's good. The Eagles lead 14-0. We're going to take a 30-second timeout while they get lined up for the kickoff. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flash's digital network. The Eagles of Legacy Charter lead 14 to nothing over St. Joe. 1:55 to go in the first quarter. Legacy is about to kick back off to the Flashes. Abram Wilson and Duke Ridley are standing at their 20-yard line ready to receive this kick.
Todd, there are beach balls flying around the stands. I don't remember the last time I've seen that, if I ever have.
The kick goes over Wilson's head. It's going to be recovered by Ridley back at his own 10. He makes a nice move initially, but they got him by the shoestrings. Flashes are going to start this drive deep in their own territory. Ball's going to be spotted at the 12-yard line. Not a great spot to start when you're trying to get a momentum swinging score here.
Really nice tackle by number one there, Adams, who kind of did the Conor McGregor strut afterwards. I don't know if you caught that. But if he doesn't make that tackle, there's some running room for Ridley on the right side after the change of direction.
I saw a video of Conor McGregor trying to throw out the first pitch in a game the other day, and it did not go well.
It was not pretty. He's had a lot of low moments in the past 3 months or so.
All right, so Fields and Ridley are in the backfield. Fields is going to throw this one right into a defender. The outside linebacker for the Eagles, Kyle Dorsey, with the pick six. I'm not sure what he saw, but he threw it right to him.
No, and you know, we had the trips formation, and I noted on our first drive that they have 3 defenders lined up against those 3 receivers. On the middle receiver, the defender lines up about 12 yards off. On the inside receiver, that linebacker was 4 yards deep. That wasn't the one you want to throw to there. So I don't know if that was execution, where maybe the receiver wasn't ready for it, if it was the ball that was thrown. But certainly the result was not to our liking.
No, so just 10 seconds after the last score update, after this extra point, which is drilled, it's 21 to nothing in favor of the Eagles. Not what the Flashes wanted on homecoming night, but maybe more importantly, not what this Flashes team wanted after such a great game last week. I'm not saying that they've come out anything other than max effort and doing the best that they can, but the team that they're facing this week is clearly a talented and well-coached football team.
You know, to make matters even worse, we ran into the kicker on that extra point try, so that's probably going to be a 15-yarder that's going to put the Flashes in even worse field position. But Todd, I do want to remind you that in that Florida-Alabama game, the score was 21-3, I believe, in the first quarter. So you know, maybe the Flashes are adjusting to this pace of football, and now it's time to make something happen on the offense.
May very well be. That's what we can hope for. 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Both teams have all 3 of their first half timeouts in their pockets, ready to be used.
I'm not sure why, but they picked up the flag. I can't imagine it would have been declined. And they are kicking off from the 40 at this point. Seems to be a conversation from the 2 refs in the area that it was called, but nobody's moving, so maybe it got waved off. Maybe the other coach was being charitable.
The loud boo that you just heard from the crowd is the beach ball that had been bouncing around was hit up and over the fence back into the parking lot. So dismay from the Flashes faithful.
There is some wind to the defense of whoever the violator was.
There is, and I'm not sure what's happening out on the field right now, but both teams are now jogging towards the sidelines.
Somebody must have called timeout. We've got water coming onto the field.
And full timeout still on the board on both teams. There was no official signal of a timeout. But we'll take one as well. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, the cheerleaders are keeping the crowd rocking here at St. Joseph Academy. The Flashes are down 21 to nothing to Legacy Charter. Legacy getting ready to kick off from their 40-yard line. A lot of conversation happening on the sideline between head coach Trent Hopper of the Eagles and this officiating crew. Whatever the flag was on the extra point has been picked up and waved off, and the Flashes are back to receive another kickoff inside their own 20-yard line. Michael Legacy is the punter and the place kicker. He drives this one to Duke Ridley at the 15. Ridley across the 20, now across the 30. He's going to get out to the 35, spins his way up to the 38-yard line. He's a good return man. I like the vision, I like the drive, and the willingness to really stick his nose into it.
He gets there fast, and we had numbers on that side. Once again, they lined up on the kicking formation with 4 guys on the right. Ridley wisely recognized that. Of course, he was running right to left, but whether he recognized it or not, he went to the side where we had more numbers. It was a good defensive play by the defender to break through one of those blocks and got just enough of Duke to slow him down, but that could have been a big play. Hopefully the Flashes coaches are saying, look, when you get it, let's run it left. I don't think we're going to see an onside kick. I hope we're not going to see an onside kick with a 3-touchdown lead until the Flashes follow the Gators' blueprint and close that gap.
Fields has 4 wide receivers along with him. Duke Ridley's in the backfield. Here's the snap. He's going to give it to Ridley. Ridley dances his way up the right side. Nice gain on the play. Gets out to about the 38. They're going to spot him actually closer to the 39, so it's going to be 2nd down and 8. I don't have any real insight into this right now, but I've noticed number 5, Charles Antoine Houdon, has not been one of the featured backs in this ball game. He's currently standing with a trainer over on the sideline. I did see him run out on the defensive side of the ball. This may be a decision to rest him a little bit on offense to be effective on defense, or he may be dealing with a little nagging injury. We'll have to try to effort some information on that. Ryan Fields rolls right, throws this one, and Abram Wilson is tackled at about the 43-yard line. The ball was well over his head and incomplete. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 with about 45 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And Todd, the coaches didn't consult me on this decision, but Houdon was one of the guys I was really excited to come out here and see tonight. He looked so good in that first game that I saw him. I think that's a guy who he's a junior already, so we've only got him for one more year, but I think we're going to see big things from him.
No, I agree. He's got good vision, good speed, good feet. He's played well, but right now he's standing with a trainer on the sideline. 3 wide receivers to the Flashes side of the field. They're moving from left to right. Fields is now moving right, under pressure. Is going to tuck this one and run. Gets out to about the 40, maybe gained a yard, but flags are coming out. Those may be holds on St. Joe.
Yeah, it's almost certainly going to be a hold, which is a great credit to the left defensive end for the Eagles. 2 guys were blocking him, and I'm not sure if it was on him or on the backside guy, but he was driving 2 back, and potentially one of them had to hold him to keep him from getting to the quarterback.
Well, and protecting the quarterback is the number one job of an offensive lineman. Under most circumstances, you want to do that with good technique and in a way that enables you to pick up positive yardage. But when you're protecting one of your guys in a big moment, things happen. I can understand that.
Todd, I've got a compliment just to the spirit here, and I'm sure some of this is coming over the speakers. We've got bubbles being blown, beach balls, umbrellas, Hawaiian wear for the Hawaiian homecoming theme. The energy in the crowd on this homecoming Friday is as good as I've ever seen it. Just love the spirit of the students, the fans, the alumni. Moms are hitting beach balls, and another one
of them
just went
over the fence, so there you go. So the Flashes now with a 3rd down and long. Looks like about 3rd down and 21. Fields drops back. Under pressure again. Good block. Gives him time to throw. Throws a high lofted pass. That one intended for Jack Titler, but it's incomplete and goes out of bounds. Jack comes up grabbing his cleat at the end of that one.
And that was that left defensive end again. I'll look for a number. I think it's number 79 there. See if I can get a name for him. But he is, I'm sorry, 51. He is really disrupting the Flash's defense. Very difficult for them to get a block on him. And we don't have a number for, or a name for number 51.
So 2 seconds are left on the clock. It's 4th down and long. The Flashes have it at their own 23-yard line. They're lining up to punt. Brennan Regan is the punter. He's got a good leg. Here's the snap. Regan under pressure. High spiraling kick is going to come down at the 40-yard line. Here's the return. Gets out across midfield. That was Jaden Oyala who had the first touchdown of the night early on in the first quarter, which now comes to a close. It is the Eagles 21, the Flashes 0. We'll be back in just a minute to bring you the rest of the first half.
Way to go, CPS!
A spirited crowd here at St. Joseph Academy, joined by some students from CPS. Their principal is right next to me here in the booth. My name is Todd. His name is Brian. This is Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. Flashes had a rough first quarter. Defensively, they were challenged throughout to stop this high-powered Eagles offense. They are led by senior Jaden Colin, who was dominant both as a runner and also as a passer. Eagles put up 21 points in that first quarter. They've got the ball to start this drive in Flash's territory. 2nd down and 8 from the plus 48. 4 wide receivers in the formation. The handoff is to Kyle Dorsey. Dorsey gets pushed back. Dorsey had a pick 6 in the latter part of that first quarter that put the 3rd score on the board for the Eagles. The Eagles are from Legacy Charter, which is in the Ocoee area, not too far from where you spent a number of years, if memory serves.
That's true. I lived a couple years in Apopka, Florida. Ocoee and Apopka are probably 15 minutes out through what was once a lot of lakes and trees, but is now very developed.
Great Flashes crowd here trying to get ramped up. 3rd down and 10. Colin drops back, rolls right, fires this one. He's got a receiver at the 45 who's going to pick up a first down and somehow comes out of the pile. Ryan Fields runs him down and tackles him inside the 5. I thought he was tackled twice, got hit one final time and burst out of the mess.
So, first off, a compliment to the offensive line of the Eagles. Excellent pass protection to give the quarterback time. Secondly, a compliment to the receiver who moved to the ball, caught it in stride, and immediately broke into the open field. And then we got to do a little bit better job of tackling. We had one guy whose name I won't say or number who went down with no arms and tried to do the old back shoulder tackle. Should have had the guy with a good form tackle, but that's why the runner bounced off of him. Good low center of gravity and made a much bigger gain.
Angel Puebla was the man with the big run. I do want to note that number 5, Charles Antoine Hudon, is out on the field at the outside linebacker position. So glad to see him back out there. Here's the snap, the handoff. That one's going to go to Dorsey. Dorsey extends, and touchdown Eagles. Flashes thought they had him stopped short, but he reached out right at the end of that run, and he's got 2 touchdowns tonight. And the Eagles now have 27 points. and we have just started the second quarter.
Not a bad defensive effort by the Flashes there. Some pretty good penetration by the defensive line. I thought we had him stopped, but it was the second effort by the Eagles runner that got him into the end zone, as you said.
Eagles have been quite successful this year, 2-1, two big wins over the last 2 weeks. One of those was 42 to nothing. The other was 51 to 7. This extra point is up and good, and it's now 28 to nothing in favor of the Eagles. Brian, one of the things that I've talked to head coach Tom Dickerson about is the spirit of his team, the will of his team. And when you start dealing with deficits like this, and unfortunately the Flashes have seen this two other times this season, staying motivated and continuing to play hard on every single play, we can look at from up here and say, hey, it's difficult to do. Down on the field, these guys continue to drive and work. I love that attitude and energy. Can you coach that, or is that something that just kind of happens organically?
I think a little bit of both, but I think it doesn't happen without either good coaching or some really strong player leadership or some combination of both. And I know Nathaniel Kess is one of those guys. I've called his name out a lot tonight, who brings that type of energy on a team with only two seniors. He's a junior who I think that energy is contagious.
10:05 to go in the first half. It is 28 to nothing in favor of the Eagles. Flashes set up for this return. The kick is going to be well off to the left. Ridley picks it up at the 15. He's going to try to reverse fields. Not a lot of room to run, though. He'll go down at the 19. They may give him forward progress to the 20. Took a little bit of a hit late, but he seems to be okay.
Yeah, I think before this year is over, we're going to read a lot about Duke Ridley in the newspaper. He's going to make some plays. I like, with all respect to Hudon, who I was hoping would have a bigger part in the offense, leaving that first game, I thought, gosh, Duke Ridley needs to have a bigger part in the offense. So I'm glad to see him getting his role. I think as this offense continues to evolve, and we don't know what injury issues are going on with Hudon, but I think those are two playmakers that we got to get the ball in both of their hands.
Ryan Fields, the senior quarterback, takes the snap. He's going to keep this one, runs up the middle, evades the first two tacklers, but a big group of Eagles brings him down. Forward progress out to about the 21-yard line. One official is at the 21, the other at the 22. The official at the 22 wins, and it's going to be second down and 8 for St. Joe. Ryan Fields has really emerged as both a leader and an athlete here in the latter part of his high school career. He was kind of convinced to come out to the football team last year, and it's kind of been a revelation to him. He absolutely loves it. He's having a blast doing it. He coached a powder puff game yesterday, and it was fun seeing him out there calling plays and leading another team.
And he was a lineman last year on both sides of the ball.
He's going to give this one to Ridley. Ridley runs into just a mass of humanity. He rolled over the top of the pile, so he gained a couple. It's going to be third down and 6.
I've done nothing but compliment the Eagles tonight, and I'm just really impressed by how fundamentally sound they are on both sides of the ball. Their execution has been tremendous. They cover their gaps well. Their offensive execution has really just been beautiful to watch. You can tell that they're a well-coached team. They've got good athletes. They've got numbers. That's where we hope that the Flashes program will be 3 years from now.
Well, and head coach Tom Dickerson talked a little bit about this team being an example for his guys, but this isn't the way you want to learn that lesson. I'd rather do that on film. Duke Ridley is going to carry this one to the left side. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. I think they're actually going to move that line back just a little. It's going to bring up a fourth down and 7 for the Flashes. 8:28 to go in the first half. Big deficit. They're going to punt this one away.
And we had spoken a few minutes ago about Hudon. I did see him taking handoffs on the sideline from one of the coaches, and then moving athletically afterwards. He looked to be in pretty good health, so I got to think it's only a matter of time till we see him out there carrying the ball.
High end over end punt. Not a very long punt, is going to be down at the 43-yard line. So Eagles are going to start another drive in Flash's territory. Flash's defense getting ready to play. Inside 8 minutes to go in the first half. Flashes with hands on hips. You know, we've talked about this before. A lot of guys going both ways. Conditioning has been prioritized in practice. Hydration's been big. The cooler weather that we've been gifted with over the last 2 days is going to help. Nice breeze up here in the booth. I actually brought a pullover with me. I haven't had to put it on, but it's definitely been an easier environment to have to play on both sides of the ball than the first couple of games. Although last week these guys played in an outright downpour for the majority of the game. Handoff here goes to Ayala, who's going to pick up about 9 yards on the play. Another gain for another back for the Eagles.
And you know, Todd, we've been quite spoiled over the last several years by the Flashes football team, by the Flashes coaches. We've had a lot of success. We've won more state playoff games in the last 5 years than in our history. Had more state playoff berths in the last 5 years than in a lot of years previous. One of the things that happens, beautiful tackle. One of the things that happens when you're in this rebuilding stage, that was Duke Ridley, by the way, on the tackle, is you've got to find those schools who are similar to you. And you don't always know who those schools are by their size. We're looking at a team right now who is twice as big as us in terms of numbers, maybe more than that, who are not playing guys on both sides of the ball. And that's always your goal, is to get enough good athletes where your offense can rest when the defense is on the field. And that's a tremendous advantage when you're playing a school like us who doesn't have that ability.
So some backups are in the game. The backup quarterback, Liam Lamprecht, has checked in. That run was by number 34, Mario Gomez. He's a 5'3 freshman listed as an outside linebacker. So it looks like Legacy Charter is making the transition already to some of those second wave guys, which you respect from a competitive standpoint. But you also understand that these are guys that want to go out and win jobs and are going to give it everything they've got. 6:22 to go in the first half. Lamprecht takes the snap, hands this one off to Dorsey. Dorsey with a big gain off the left side. What was a second down and 13 turns into a first down.
And Todd, you and I have known each other long enough to know that this is a subject I'm passionate about. Sadly, we see far too often coaches leave players in too long on a blowout. I think an ultimate act of disrespect to the other team and the passions and the hard work of the other team. It's really refreshing to see a coach who did it, honestly, earlier than I would have expected. I would not fault him at all for running his starters through the first half, giving them work, but to do it, and he's still got some starters out there, but to start mixing the guys in early, I think ultimately benefits his football team.
Lamprecht with the quick throw to the outside. That one is going to be incomplete, defense by Abram Wilson. It's going to be second down and 10 from the 20.
At CPS, we have a JV basketball team right now. We're the only school in our division, and the middle school's basketball teams are divided by size, who has a JV basketball team. What a huge advantage that is for our school, that these kids are getting reps in real games with referees that other schools that we play aren't getting. It's the same concept that the Eagles are able to take advantage of getting their backups in.
So the Eagles have it second down and 10. Lamprecht takes the snap, fires this one out to the left. That is incomplete, just over the head of his receiver. It's going to bring up a third down and 10. 5:40 to go now in the first half. This Flash's defense now seeing a new group of guys aside, and I have to imagine that gives them mixed feelings, right? You've got a little bit of, hey, we want to take on your best. But at the same time, there's some fresh legs across from them as well. So,
yeah, I think down 28-0, you're kind of excited to say, okay, maybe these guys, age-wise, are a better match for us. We don't have 15 seniors out there anymore.
Here's the snap. Lamprecht rolls right, under some pressure. Lofts this one down to the corner of the end zone. What a grab. Was he inbounds? Yes, he was. Touchdown, Eagles.
So beautiful placement by the quarterback, putting it where only his receiver could get to it. And then just a really outstanding job, not only going to the ball, having to adjust to the ball in the air, but also having the wherewithal to get not one, but I think he got 2 feet in and ran right in front of that cone to go in the front of the end zone. Again, even with the backups, we're seeing some impressive execution.
I watched these guys during warm-ups. They were just over to the south of us in our practice field, really working reps with multiple wide receivers, multiple quarterbacks, getting a lot of guys involved in that process. And I was impressed by what I saw out of Lamprecht as he was getting warmed up. He is a younger guy. He's a sophomore, 5'9", 131 pounds. I don't remember ever being 131 pounds, but he throws the ball well. Not a big, thick-legged kid, but seems strong at the same time. So we'll see what happens as we go. But the Eagles now have 35 points on the board, 5:32 to go in the first half.
It'll be interesting to see, Todd, how the Eagles handle defense. Sometimes you'll see teams start those subs on offense, but a defensive-minded head coach will want to protect that zero, will want to keep that margin for error so that you continue to work your offensive guys in. I'm seeing a lot of starters out on the special teams right now, including that defensive end, number 51 and number 7, who you just called out on offense. It'd be really nice for the Flashes to be able to build up some confidence with an offensive possession before halftime.
Kickoff is to Duke Ridley, who bobbles it, picks it up, dances his way. Well, he dances his way out of the way of what could have been a pretty big hit. Flashes are going to have this one to start right around the 19. Actually, they've marked it at the 18.
Compliment to Clayton Kennedy on that. I'm not sure what preceded it, but I saw a guy, Clayton's probably the biggest guy on the team, one of our offensive linemen. We've talked a lot about him as being the core of that line for the future, and just an all-around great kid as well. A much smaller guy gave him a really unnecessary, missing the context if there was any, shoulder bump on the way out, and then looked around to see if Clayton noticed it and was going to do anything back. Clayton kept walking forward, didn't even acknowledge it. That's the kind of guy he is.
3 wide receivers split out wide to the left, 1 to the right. Kennedy is that left tackle there, getting ready to protect the blind side of his quarterback, who actually started rolling in that direction. Got an encroachment penalty against the Eagles, so that'll give the Flashes a little more breathing room.
And we're still seeing some starters in, including that defensive end who's been so disruptive on the pass rush there. But with the subs, you sometimes see those types of penalties. And I just want to clarify that one play that I saw, that one snapshot, has not been reflective of the way the game has been played or of the way the Eagles have conducted themselves. I think the game has been played with excellent sportsmanship on both sides so far, and called well by the refs as well.
Absolutely. First down and 5 after the penalty. Flashes have it at the 24. Crowd continues to stay positive and energized. 4 wide receivers in the formation. Fields takes the snap. The handoff goes to Ridley. Ridley spins his way up the middle. That'll be a first down. A nice run by Duke Ridley.
Absolutely. Kept those legs churning. Low center of gravity, kept the legs moving. Good pad level, and that low center of gravity allowed him to twist and turn as the tacklers were coming, and they kind of rolled off him.
Ball spotted at the 34-yard line. First down and 10. 5:12 to go in the first half. Flashes big deficit right now, but starting a drive. Quick pass outside to Abram Wilson. Wilson cuts it upfield. That is Jameer Clark, and Clark's going to fight his way for a first down.
So Jameer Clark, if I remember correctly, was standing on the sidelines, not dressed to play when I was here last. And I think you might have even told me about him. I think he just joined the team.
So he caught the big touchdown pass at the end of what I believe was the last game that you were here. Last play of the game, he went about 60 yards for a touchdown. Were you here for that one?
I was here for only the preseason game.
Okay. So he's a kid, a lot of speed. They're still working him into the offense. Made a big play on the last play of the game in what was a blowout loss He and Duke Ridley connected on a long touchdown. He's been getting 1 to 3 targets a game. Came up with that one on the swing pass. I think he's a guy they'd like to get the ball to more. Uh, Very nice young man. I've really enjoyed getting to know him on the school side of things. Now looking to see how he grows as a football player. Been almost exclusively at wide receiver, but heading out to a practice last week, he was also playing some defensive end. And he's a guy that they like, and I think he'll continue to grow.
And that's what you're looking for in games like this. I see on my roster that he's a sophomore, so he's one of those guys. I think it'll be exciting to see how the coaching staff develops him in the coming games and years.
First down and 10 from the 44. Quick handoff goes to Clark again. Clark turns the corner, gets across the 45 and now out to the 50. Gain of about 6 yards on, I guess, a jet sweep.
Yeah, and again, I like the moves. He made a couple guys miss, took it back into the inside, showing the ability to cut back. So you can tell he's a fairly natural runner. And, as an offensive coach, you're always thinking, and as I'm saying this, I'm looking at Hudon again in the sideline. You got to get the ball into your playmakers. There's got to be more to that situation that we're not aware of.
3 wide receivers out to the right. 2 of them set back a good 5 yards off the ball. Here's the snap. Fields is going to roll that way. Had a chance to dump it off, but he's going to look at him go. Bursts up the right side. He's going to get all the way into Eagles territory. Not only a first down, but he's picked up about 12 yards on the play.
And you're right, Todd. He just looked fast on that play, and gotta call out the block there. Duke Ridley did an excellent job of taking that first guy who got upfield and holding the block. So many times you see young players make a block for about a half a second and then let the block go, and then their guy ends up tackling the runner. And when you're coaching them, you tell them, hold your block. Duke did a great job of doing that.
Trips left, solo to the right. Here's the snap, handoff to Ridley. Ridley bounces this one outside. Ooh, he gets his feet taken out from him, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Really wanted to break that tackle. I thought he had some room to go, but he got taken down.
And I got to point out here, this is not a second team unit right now. They've mixed some subs in, but there are still some very significant starters, including the nameless number 51, who is only nameless because his name and number are not matched together on our roster, but he's caught my attention as a heck of a football player at that left defensive end spot.
Second down and 11 for St. Joe. We've
got an uncovered
at the Eagles
receiver.
41. 3 wide receivers over to the left and only 2 defensive backs. There is a
15
safety
yards.
drifted back. Here's the snap. Fields is going to try to run it up the middle, and there was nothing there. He gets slammed to the turf back at the 45-yard line. They'll give him forward progress to the 43, but he took a real wallop at the end of that play.
And Todd, I've commented it. I think pretty much every time we've run that trips formation, they've got a guy fairly close on the outside guy, a guy fairly close on the inside guy. It was a full 15 yards back to the middle receiver of those 3. You throw him a quick pass. Now the other 2 have to hold their blocks, but you've got everybody boxed up and you've got 15 yards to run.
Third down and about 13. 15 yards would be helpful here. Here's the snap. Fields is going to roll to his left. Protection breaks down, but he dumps this one off to Ridley, who nearly grabs it and then cuts it upfield, but that one is incomplete.
So
good awareness there, but he was in trouble.
Yeah, that was not well blocked. That was a rollout where there was a player who was designated to roll with Ryan and just kind of swung and missed. Got a hand on the defender, but Fields was in trouble because that was not well blocked on the rollout. And that's really a crucial block. The rollout doesn't work unless you can block that one guy.
Brennan Regan standing at his own 45-yard line, getting ready to punt this one away. 2 minutes to go in the first half. It's 35-0 in favor of the Eagles. And not a good kick. So, looked like there was a little contact there, maybe with his own player, that either caused a distraction or maybe even a partial deflection. But that one goes out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, probably a net of only about 10 yards on that punt.
You're a very generous man. I'm going to give him 4.
Trying to help him out here.
There is that a flag down right where the ball went out of
There
bounds.
is
Looks like a personal foul. Not sure who it's against.
personal foul called against the Flashes.
So Todd, that's going to be a net punt of -11.
That's not good. That's not good.
Excellent commentary.
2 minutes to go in the first half. The Eagles have moved into Flashes territory after the penalty. Ball's marked at the 46. Some music playing up here in the stands. Kids continue to enjoy the night. This is Catholic school night out here at St. Joseph Academy. A lot of CPS youth running around, playing, and having a good time. Lamprecht with the quick throw out to the right. He's got McClure. He's going to be brought down at the 39-yard line. A gain of about 8 on the play. So backup quarterback, but starting wide receivers. There is a flag in the backfield.
It's going to be a late
Ooh,
hit on
and
the
another
quarterback.
flag just came out.
And I hope that's not on the sidelines.
Looks like one of the Flashes is being sent off.
And it was the Flash who made the late hit on the quarterback, so probably both of those penalties are against him. Granted, it was a little bit late. It wasn't an egregious late hit. It's one you often don't see called in high school. I'm going to choose to point out the positive. I think it was 22, and I don't see a number for 22. Wondering, is that Abram Wilson? No,
It is. It's Abram Wilson.
Okay, so Abram's listed on the roster as 7. Abram Wilson, Ryan Fields, and one other player, might have been Damian August, converged on that tackle. And again, context, 35-0. You've just given up net -11 on a punt, and you've got 3 guys flying to the ball on a defensive play. When you're looking for positives, that's one of them. That the level of effort that the Flash's defense is still giving. Even the penalty came because of effort. A guy got in there, put a hit on the quarterback. Now, of course, the emotion spilled over afterwards, but the penetration to get to the quarterback reflects effort. Todd, on a side note, another positive, you mentioned the kids playing. One of the things I've loved most over the years about St. Joe football is the community event it is. You've got alumni everywhere. You've got balloons and people reconnecting. And then you've got this side field where there are a pickup football game, tackle football, kids of all ages. You've got the CPS cheerleaders doing cartwheels. It's just really a beautiful environment and a great night on top of it all.
Well, it is a beautiful night out here at Versaghi Field. It's homecoming week for St. Joe. This is not the result on the field that they were looking for. They're currently down 35 points. The Eagles, after the penalty, are going to advance into the red zone. They're spotting the ball at the 19-yard line. But the weather has taken a nice turn. The crowd really is enjoying the night, knowing that this is a rebuilding year for this program, but maybe more importantly, a building opportunity for brand new head coach Tom Dickerson, who I really like, really have been impressed by his attitude, his energy, his poise. All of it is very impressive, and I think that's rubbing off on his players. That unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was uncharacteristic of what we've seen out of the Flashes this year. Came out of a little bit of emotion and I think a respectful disagreement with a call. But you got to know when you can't argue with an adult or an official in this particular case.
One of the reflections of Coach Dickerson is when I was last here, we had about 18 or 19 or 20 on the roster. A few of those weren't dressed because they were either new to the team or were injured. And right now we've got 19 on the roster, but I counted more than that on the sideline. So not only is he holding the team together, but he's even potentially growing it. Everything I hear from the players is that they like playing for him, and that's important when you're building a program.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The ball is sitting at the 19. The Flashes love getting a chance to play football, and here they are on homecoming night. That pass is going to fall incomplete at the 10. It'll be second down and 10 from the 20. 150 to go. I feel like about 20 minutes have gone by, and we're still barely beyond that 2-minute warning that we stopped at quite a bit ago.
At some point, the way this game is trending, we're probably going to go to a running clock. So I expect that the second half is going to be a lot quicker than the first half.
4 wide receivers in the formation for the Eagles. Lamprecht is still in at quarterback. He takes the snap, looks left, throws left. That one's going to be complete. That is Ayola. He is going to dance his way down to the 10-yard line. Going to be just short of the first down if they spot it where the official is standing now. It'll be 3rd down and 1. 1:30 to play in the first half.
And Ayola is, if I'm not mistaken, it was number 9 who caught the ball. Okay, he's one of the leading receivers. I think he is the second leading receiver in terms of yardage and in terms of the number of catches. And that is, especially in the first half, kind of a nice gift to give to your backup quarterback, is to let him work with the ones, with the starters, to build some chemistry, especially in case your starter gets hurt.
Lamprecht has to throw that one away on 3rd down, so now it's going to be 4th down and 2 from the 11-yard line. Decision time for the Eagles, I suppose, or I just like saying decision time, but we both know they're going to go for it.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for it. That no personnel has changed at all. The quarterback has gone all the way over to the sideline, and it looks like there's going to be a substitution as another player trots back into the huddle with him.
That's Gomez. That's the starting running back. So the ball is on the left hash. 4th down and 2, just inside a minute to play in the first.
They want to score here, and then I imagine they'll probably take the gas off a little more in the second half with
Your
a very
starting
comfortable
quarterback
lead.
is in at running back now. Lamprecht has got 2 of them. He's going to give it to Gomez. Gomez spins at the 10-yard line. He's going to get the first down.
The clock did not move, curiously. Or either that or it moved and stopped very quickly, as it should for the first down. It'll be interesting to see. Okay, the clock did stop and just got wound again. They're not using a timeout, but they were quick out of the huddle. They clearly want to score here without pushing the bounds of sportsmanship by calling a timeout.
1st and goal. Handoff goes to the deep back on the play, who I thought at first was Jaden Colin, but it is not. That actually was Ayola back in there. So your starting wide receiver moves to starting running back.
And they do call a timeout there, which, again, I don't think is out of bounds. I use the term pushing the limits. It's still the first half. Bigger comebacks could conceivably happen, although I don't see it happening right now. What I would expect is they're going to try everything that they can with this lineup to try and score. I think it'd be they say there are no moral victories in football, but I think it would be a bit of a moral victory for the Flashes to keep them out of the end zone, knowing that they're really trying hard to get in with 34 seconds left.
Flashes are going to try to protect their end zone, just like Orthopedic Associates of St. Augustine is protecting soft tissue injuries for all of these young athletes. That commercial was fairly impromptu, but I did want to give a shout out to JP, our trainer, for all the work that he does to help keep our Flashes safe. I hope that worked. I think it did.
You've been a bit of a plug man tonight, I'll say, with the properly plugging our radio station. And now Orthopedic Associates, leaving the fans wondering what's next.
Here's the snap. Lamprecht is going to pull it down and keep it. And he's going to score a touchdown for the Eagles. Sorry for the lack of emotion, but that's another score on the other side of the field. 41 points now on the board in the first half for the Eagles. They'll come try to kick the extra point with 31 seconds to go in the half.
And Todd, I don't know if that was by design. It
No,
could have
I
been a
think
draw
he pulled
play.
that down and took off.
It had that look like it
Yeah.
wasn't by design, but it's interesting that we've seen them kind of get away from that quarterback draw play, spread him out, that was so effective for them in the past. It could be because they have a 135-pound backup quarterback.
Snap placement, and it's blocked. Duke Ridley blocks the extra point. That one will be whistled dead from there, but a little positive energy there for the St. Joe crowd. So 41 remains the score, And the Flashes will get one opportunity on offense to make something good happen after this kickoff.
Maybe it will be this kickoff.
Ridley's nearly broken one or two of these on the evening, but they've continued to kick it to him. I'm a little surprised. Abram Wilson is standing at the 15 on the opposite hash mark. He
And I
too has a
believe
lot of speed.
this is their starting kickoff unit. I haven't noticed any substitutions, and I see some key players out there for the group. So I think their coaching staff has a lot of confidence in their special teams. They've got a pretty strong-footed kicker, and they've had pretty decent coverage. We've broken a few or come close so far.
Little breeze coming across us here. High kick again, right at Ridley. Ridley catches it at the 20, sprints to the left. He's got one man to beat, and he can't get by him. He gets out to the 32-yard line. 23.2 seconds to go in the first half, and we'll see how the Flashes approach this drive.
And that was Dorsey, number 7, who again is one of the starters. A really good-looking football player who made a great diving tackle to get Ridley by the ankles there. So 23 seconds left. Will the Flashes go for something big here in the passing game?
So Ridley has been the big play quarterback. Fields has been the consistent and actually they just rushed a guy out on the field there at the end. Right guard fills in.
Michael Likos.
Flashes may have moved, and they're going to get called for it. For just a second, I thought the official was going to let that one go, but he entered the neutral zone. And so they're going to back them up 5 here. So what was going to be 1st and 10 from the 34 turns into 1st and 15 from, actually, they're going back to the 28.
You know, Todd, about 2 weeks ago, Jacksonville State found themselves in a similar position with about 20 seconds less on the clock, and they managed to pull off about a 70-yard touchdown against a struggling team.
Who was that?
I think it was that team from Tallahassee.
Oh, okay. Ryan Fields rolls right, throws incomplete at the feet of Abram Wilson. 17.3 seconds to go. Flashes will be 2nd down and 15. They've been really moving the pocket in this game, and I'm not sure if that's to counter what is a pretty big and strong defensive line for Legacy Charter, or if it's just something that they like within the scope of their offense to do. But Fields has been throwing on the run a lot, has been under a lot of pressure on quite a few of those throws, as he was on that one.
And there's still a lot of starters on the field right now for Legacy Charter. They don't want to give up points with 17 seconds left. So again, I think they want to shut us down. Moving the pocket is an effective way for a young offensive line to be given a little bit of relief against a very aggressive defense. 3-man front right now, 3-4 defense. Really no deep safety.
Here.
It's not a prevent by any stretch.
No, 3 deep guys, though, around the 40-yard line, and they take a few steps back. Ridley under pressure. He is going to be sacked all the way back at the 15-yard line. He came in at quarterback on that play. They haven't really rotated quarterbacks as much as they have in the last few weeks tonight, but Ridley was the quarterback on that play, and that is going to bring the first half to a close. Legacy Charter leads St. Joseph Academy 41-0. We are going to take a break here for the half. We'll be back in about 15 minutes to bring you the second. You're listening to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flashes Digital Network. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. We are broadcasting live from St. Joseph Academy here and Versailles Field. It's homecoming night for St. Joe. My name is Todd. My co-host is Brian. It was a rough first half for the Flashes. They gave up 41 unanswered points. But they get the kickoff in the second half, and they hope to excite this crowd with a great drive. Head coach Tom Dickerson was working with the crew in the north end zone, working on a couple of things. I think the goal here in the second half is going to be to put a drive together and get some points on the board. Did get a little bit of information during the break. Charles Antoine Houdon was dealing with some cramps going back to last week, and I think they're just kind of managing his reps tonight. He has been playing defense throughout the evening. I think ultimately he's going to be good to go, but just a little dinged up. We'll see what happens here in the second half.
I'm a little surprised to see the what looks to be the starting kickoff team for the Eagles tonight. I wonder if that is a trend or if special teams is a place of pride. That's often the first place that you work in the backups in a game that is no longer competitive.
Unless you are a defensive-minded coach who wants to protect the shutout, and so they're looking at this and saying, "Hey, we don't want to give up any points, no big returns. Let's leave our guys out there who know their assignments and their lanes."
True enough, Todd. I was down mingling with some of the small folk here, and I of course say
The
that
small folk?
I say that with a smile.
Only because we're so high up here in
That's
the
right.
booth that they
That's
look
that's
small
right.
way down there.
Exactly. I'm seeing right now the Foxes with several graduates of St. Joe and a current student here who's on the football team just walked by. I think I saw Morgan Rickelman, our recently graduated student government president. Saw Kamari Grimes, who made some great memorable moments out on the football field. Tyler Tillis is in the house, a recent graduate. Always fun every homecoming or every football game to see the students return, but especially homecoming.
Abram Wilson's going to get this return. He's got it at the 20, cuts his way up to the 30. He's brought down by a host of Eagles at the 31-yard line. Not a bad gain there. Abram's first return of the night. He's a guy that we've been looking to get a little more energy out of. And by that, I mean let's get him the football and see what he can do.
So you may hear over the speaker that there is a contest right now, a spirit contest being held between the students. They're all dressed in their Hawaiian wear, and one of them is actually seated in a beach suit with an umbrella to see who has the most spirit on this Friday of what I've heard, even down at CPS, has been a really fun homecoming week.
Ryan Fields helped to lead some of that homecoming as one of the student council reps. He now leads his Flashes offense out onto the field in the second half. He's going to run it on first down. Had a little room up the middle, now has to bounce it outside. Ran about 25 yards on the play, but no actual gain.
And it does look like, if not the starting defense, close to it out there. So this may be a defensive-minded coach. I will say on the Flashes side, the execution appears more crisp than the last time I've seen the Flashes. And of course, the last time I saw them was the first time of this season. So you expect to see a lot of those substitution and delay and false start type penalties. But they've been getting out of the huddle quicker. They've been getting lined up well. They're a team that seems to understand their assignments, who admittedly is playing against a team who is very good. So this time we've got nobody over that middle receiver of the trips.
Duke Ridley is in at quarterback, and he is in a lot of trouble. He is going to be dragged down for a big loss
by the mystery man, number 51, whose name I've called out many times this evening.
So we may have to check on that if we get a couple of minutes later. The roster that we're working with up here came off of Max Preps. He may have been a late addition after they got everything loaded on there.
Or a number change, as we
Or
had
a
some
number change
players.
as well, which we've had a couple of those ourselves over the course of the year. 9:40 to go in the third quarter. Thus far, it appears to be a running clock. Flashes now have third down and really long. Trips to the left. One wide receiver out to the right. Fields in the backfield. He takes the snap. He's going to run it. He's got some room. He's out across the 30, the 35, now the 40. He's in the open field. He's in the Eagles' territory all the way down to the 30-yard line. A big gain for Ryan Fields.
So interesting. Of course, we don't have a great view. One of the Eagles actually inadvertently took out the sideline ref right before I think I saw Ryan's foot touch that white chalk on the sideline around the 47-yard line. The ref was on his back, didn't see it, so the Flashes get the credit. And he may not have stepped out. You know, we don't have the tennis cam that they do at the U.S. Open that shows the replay. But a unfortunate break for the ref, who's fine now, and that same player helped him up, or maybe it was a coach. But nice run for Fields. Look fast again.
Flashes with the same formation. Fields in at quarterback. Takes the snap. Gets a nice block from Ridley. Cuts it upfield. He is going to run it again. He's out across the 25. Now the 20. The 15. Gets blasted at about the 12-yard line. A flag comes out, but there are two flags in the backfield.
Yeah.
And at least one Eagle is still hanging out around the original line of scrimmage, so he thinks it's coming back. But there may have been a personal foul at the end of that play, so we'll see if these two offset.
There was definitely a personal foul at the end. That was a late hit out of bounds.
Holding against the Flashes. Holding also against the Eagles. They will offset, and we're going to replay. What they're showing is third down, but I believe it's going to be second.
That's a really strange call there. I don't see how defensive holding could have been called way down the field where he went out of bounds. Maybe there were two holds there, although I'm not even sure. Defensive holding just seems like such an odd call, but it seems like they would still mark the 15 off.
Holding against the offense and defense, penalties offset.
So the personal foul is going to be enforced.
So, all right, offsetting holding penalties and then a personal foul, so the Flashes are going to get 15. You know, it's hard when we don't have a direct line to the officials. I will tell you, one of the things we've been dealing with in your absence, I've been working for the most part in the booth downstairs. And I've had one of the officials up in the booth with me who actually is using a radio communicator and talking to the head referee. So I was getting some insight into what was happening down on the field that we do not have with us tonight. There is still a flag sitting out of bounds. The side judge just remembered that he needed to go grab it. So he's off at about the 10-yard line.
Clock
The
is
ball
running
at
through
the 15,
all this.
And yes, the clock is still running. 6:55 to go in the third quarter. Fields takes a snap, hands off to Ridley. Ridley fumbles the football. Now, I believe one of the Flashes fell back on it, but no, the Eagles come up with it, and what was a very promising drive now results in a turnover, and St. Joe is going to go back on defense. That is a tough break.
Interesting play going back to the long run by Fields, the second of two consecutive long runs, where, again, maybe the Flashes found something because Ryan Fields is looking very fast tonight. The defense brought the house. There were at least two linebackers that blitzed on that play, which, again, you know, you're trying to keep that zero on. I'm not a big fan of it, and I'm going to say it. I've recognized a lot of things that I've been impressed with about the Eagles. I don't know that up 41-0 you need to be blitzing linebackers, but to each their own.
So the Flashes have held on to the football. Here's the snap. Quick shuttle pass. They tried the jet sweep there. That's going to be an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it absolutely should be an incomplete pass. I'm seeing at least one ref.
They are calling it like it's a fumble, but that was a forward pass.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt it was. We could see it clearly here.
The same thing happened in the Gator game 2 weeks ago.
fruition raffle drawing.
So they were trying.
Jamie Rickelman. Is Jamie in the building?
They were trying a little shuttle pass there, and I'm not sure what the call is here.
Well, they called a fumble. It was an atrocious call. Maybe one of the refs didn't have an angle. We had a great angle to see from up here that ball went at least a yard in the air. Maybe not a yard, but at least half an air. I mean, we saw half a yard. We saw visible air in between the players.
Speaking of air, here's a big throw on the outside, complete. That is going to be an 80-yard touchdown. Nearly defensed, but there is a flag all the way back at the 25-yard line.
That flag may be against the defense. I saw the quarterback hit the ground pretty hard after the throw. It was another one of those
ineligible receiver downfield.
Against the Eagles.
So this one's going to come all the way back. Eagles are arguing, but to no avail. So 4:09 on the clock in the third quarter. The coaches on the Flash's sideline still a little frustrated at the call on the fumble.
Yeah, refs are human. It was a bad call, but bad calls happen. Refs make mistakes. They don't see things. They don't always have the angle. Fortunately, from one perspective, it's not going to make the difference in this game. Some might question, should a team be throwing a long pass up 41? I think we've got a group of mostly, if not entirely, backups. There is that argument that you want to work your backups in the full breadth of the offense. So, and there was a lot of cheering from the Eagles sideline, but that often can come not from a team who's not being disrespectful to the other team, but simply for a backup to a backup, guys who that might have been that guy's first touchdown catch in a varsity football game, which you can't fault anybody for celebrating a situation like that. I don't think that's bad sportsmanship.
So there is a water break out on the field. We're going to take a quick 30-second break up here in the booth as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back on Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flash's digital network. The Eagles just had an 80-yard touchdown erased by penalty, and now the Flash's defense is going to look to get a stop and hopefully get the ball back. There is a running clock right now. Legacy Charter is up 41-0. There's about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter as it stands now. Legacy Charter has been dominant offensively throughout this game. They have held the Flashes scoreless, and now is a moment as the backup offense is coming in, the starting defense remains in. The Flashes are really going to have to go max effort. Big tackle there. Looks like that was Mr. Kess who made that big hit in the backfield.
That was a hit. Down 41-0 to still see that kind of effort flying to the ball. Now this is when you kind of lick your chops because you are playing the backups at this point. You've got a younger group of guys that are out there for the Eagles, but heck, get after it, guys. If they're still going to throw big, we're going to come after you guys.
3rd down and 15 for the Eagles. 2:20 to play in the third quarter. They've got 4 wide receivers in the formation. Here is the snap. The throw out to the right is complete. A nice close there by the Flash's secondary to make the tackle. That's going to be 4th down and 10.
There were about 3 flashes there to make a tackle for maybe a 3-yard gain. And once again, Nathaniel Kess came to finish the play off. Love the energy from the Flash's defense right now. We might see our first punt from the Eagles.
4th down and 10. If we see the first punt tonight, it's going to be the guy who does all the kickoffs, Mr. Legacy. And it does appear that the Flashes have forced a punt. Best field position of the night is on the horizon. Duke Ridley standing at his own 45-yard line. Legacy's got a leg based on the kickoffs. Taking a while on the snap, but there it is. Here is the punt. It is a high spiraling kick that is going to come down right at midfield. Takes a big Eagles bounce down inside the 40, and it'll be down at the 39-yard line.
Wise play by Ridley to let that bounce. Sometimes you can be tempted when you see that ball rolling deeper into your territory to try and pick it up and make a play, but you certainly don't want to turn the ball over in your own territory when you really have an opportunity for your offense to get some valuable reps.
One of my favorite arguments that tends to happen both on the field, in the booth sometimes, and I know in living rooms, is when one of the punt team, you see this more on kickoffs, you see this more on punts than you would ever on a kickoff, but when a punt team makes contact with a ball and then the return team scoops it up in traffic, you can't fumble the ball and lose it in that position. Ridley with a nice run up the middle. There's actually a rule that protects you, that even if you fumble, you still get to keep the football. But there's always big arguments. What is he doing? Why is he grabbing the ball in traffic like that? Oh my gosh. Always entertaining. That is the end of the third quarter. It is the Eagles 41, the Flashes 0, but the Flashes have it, and they're headed towards midfield. We'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, so the Flashes are going to be heading now from right to left on your radio dial or on your television screens. They are going to have the ball at the 39-yard line with a chance to score for the first time this evening. Their last drive took them into the red zone, but a turnover gave the ball back over to the Eagles, a turnover the Flashes are still a little frustrated about. Among other things affecting them this evening, uh, losing the chance to put points on the board is just a little painful for them. Duke Ridley has taken over at quarterback. He is going to roll left. He's under a lot of pressure. High throw to Jameer Clark is going to fall incomplete. And it's going to be second down. And actually, we may have missed a play there at the end of the third because it is going to be third down and about 6.
And this is now the battle for the 0. We've still got not the entire starting lineup for the defense, but a lot of starters, a lot of seniors still out there. They sent a lot of pressure there after Ridley, and the Flashes. If they get a score against this defense, they will have earned it. So this is, the game is out of reach, but points would be meaningful to both teams, I think, here.
Ridley under a lot of pressure. He's going to be taken down for a loss. He loses about a yard on the play. That almost looked like a design run the way he took off. It's going to be 4th down and 7. 11 minutes to play in the ball game. Flashes are going to go for it.
Todd, having missed the last few games here live, have we seen much passing out of Ridley?
We have. He and Abram Wilson actually have had a nice connection, and they're set up for the punt formation right now. That was really what got this offense going a few games ago, was the connection between Ridley and Abram Wilson, who punts this one down to about the 30-yard line. They're setting up a nice return. Brennan Regan's going to make the tackle, though. There is a flag on the play on the far side of the field.
That's a
But
that's
Ridley
a.
has thrown the ball pretty well, just not often.
I was worried there that the angle that Regan took might have allowed the runner to get to the outside, but Regan did a good job tackling from inside out. Usually you want that gunner on the punt who's responsible for the sideline going outside in. Regan did a good job recovering from a less than ideal angle. A little bit of an extra push at the end that we're lucky didn't get called. I think this one's going to go against the Eagles. It was definitely in the place of a hold, and they are marching backwards.
So with a little less than 10 minutes to play in this ball game, and unfortunately a running clock, I want to make sure that we get a chance to point out a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to the Bond family who came out and helped get this field lined. They did a nice job. It looks great. Very appreciative of my co-host being here with me tonight. We've been flying solo for the last couple of weeks. Glad to have Brian back in the booth. Big shout out to Ted Bianculli, who is running the camera and the computer up here, and also to Mr. CJ Emerson, who not only keeps us live on the live stream, but makes sure that everything else is functioning well up here in the booth. Ricky Teasley, who is our guy back in the WSOS studios, and Kevin Gettings for giving us the opportunity to broadcast these games live on WSOS 103.9 and StAugustineradio.com. My co-host Brian Ott, he is the principal of Cathedral Parish School. Are you getting used to hearing that?
You know, it still makes me excited to hear it. I have been so blessed for over 20 years now to be a part of two communities that have a lot of overlaps. St. Joseph Academy is as good of a high school as there is anywhere, and it was a blessing to be a part of this community for 22 years. And CPS is as good of a pre-K through 8 school as there is anywhere, and we share so many families. I love the high school kids. I love the kindergartners. I love the third graders. I love the seventh graders. It's just trading one gift for another. It's been just a wonderful transition. I see so many familiar faces here and miss them all, and see many of them sometimes volunteering. We've got people working in our aftercare room. We've got children of staff members, little younger siblings of St. Joe students who come and volunteer at CPS.
Yeah, it really is a great community. We love this St. Augustine community and both of our Catholic schools. Flash's defense looking to get a stop on third down. A pass defensed by Duke Ridley is going to bring up fourth down.
I think we're going to see a punt for the second consecutive possession. And that was a nice defensive stand. Granted, it's against the second team offense, but we saw a couple of good run stops, including another great tackle by Nathaniel Kess, who's got to be in double digits of tackles for tonight. He seems to be in on every tackle. Great pass defense by Duke Ridley. And now the Flashes are going to get an opportunity as the first team unit comes back in. Clearly, that's the philosophy on the other side of the ball. This is now a defensive play, so they want to keep that 0 up. But Duke Ridley has got his toes just shy of the 40-yard line. So barring a booming punt over his head, we should have some pretty good field position for the last 6 minutes of the game.
Ridley's backing up just a little bit towards the 35 now. Here is the snap, little rugby style kick, but it's a good one. Ridley backed up and he muffs the return. This one is on the ground, but he fell on it. Ball's going to be back at the 31. He was under a little more pressure than I think he initially anticipated.
Yeah, when you get guys who are running free, that's always a dangerous thing for a punt returner. You know you've got to make a quick decision. Either call the fair catch, but down 41, you want to make a play. You have a chance because those gunners are taking outside angles. If you can catch it and immediately step up, you may have just eliminated two potential tacklers. But he caught himself with a little bit of a tweener, one that bounced right in front of him, and you absolutely don't want that ball to touch you when it bounces short, and that's exactly what happened. Ridley made a good effort to recover it.
Flash is trying to hustle a player off the field. Lucky they didn't get a flag for breaking the huddle with too many. Ridley is going to try to go up the middle on the handoff from Ryan Fields, gains maybe a yard. There's about 5.5 to go in the ball game. Flashes would love to get some points on the board before the end of this one.
Freshman Caleb Gross is on the field right now, having a freshman receiver out there who's probably not getting a lot of playing time this year. Might have been part of the confusion, but it's nice to see the Flashes rotating. Everybody off the bench should be in a game like this.
Now, it was in this area of the game a few weeks ago that we saw the big play from Duke Ridley to Jameer Clark, so we'll see what happens. Ryan Fields is your quarterback. He takes the snap, throws this one left. There is Clark. Clark is converged upon by an Eagle and taken down for a modest loss. It's going to bring up third down and about 12 with 4:35 to go in the ball game.
Todd, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but it was about 2 weeks ago that around this same field position, Jacksonville State launched a pretty big pass play in a college football game.
You did mention that, and we were still trying to determine who that may have happened against. But we're going to have to talk about it in the break because it's water break time, both on the field and in the booth. We'll be right back from St. Joe. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. The Flashes have it third down and long from just beyond their 30. Fields in trouble, escapes initially, but he's going to be taken down after a short gain. It's going to be fourth down and about 9 yards.
Todd, the best offense for us tonight has been 2 or 3 runs by Ryan Fields. And they weren't runs like that where they were kind of slow to develop. I don't think that was a design run. It was a rollout. You want to work on that passing game, but I kind of surprised in that series that we didn't see something designed to get Fields to the outside. He's just really looked good running the ball tonight.
Inside 4 minutes, Abram Wilson's going to punt this one away. There are quite a few punt fakes in the playbook, but not on this one. Wilson with a high end-over-end kick that is going to be caught at the 44, and Jameer Clark is going to get called for a penalty.
And yes, there shouldn't have been any contact at all after that punt, and there was. But gosh, it was soft.
It really was. He realized it as soon as he got there, kind of just gave him a hug.
He did.
That was about it.
For anybody who's hearing us on the radio, it was more of a hug than a hit, and it wasn't even close. Well, I think the other refs are gathered around the ref that threw it and saying, "Really? Are we really going to call that?"
Well, but you know what? They
wave it off.
They are going to wave it off.
They were legitimately saying that.
So it's going to be first down and 10 from the Eagles from their own 41-yard line. Actually, the 43-yard line is where they're going to mark it. The Flash's defense has worked hard tonight. They haven't gotten the results they wanted. They've given up a couple of big plays. But the effort that this team continues to give, the heart that they continue to play with, is impressive. Now a flag comes out. Dead ball, and there's going to be a penalty against the Eagles.
It was an unsportsmanlike. Oh, I didn't think it was a delay. I think it was unsportsmanlike conduct. I didn't.
I'm not sure if that was a respectful disagreement regarding the flag being picked up or if something else occurred.
He's waving that one
Now
off
that
too.
penalty is being waved off.
Maybe it was a misunderstanding.
Well, the clock is still running. 137 to play now in the ball game. And with just 90 seconds to play, the handoff goes. That's going to be a run by Dorsey, who's going to pick up a couple.
Number 7, Kyle Dorsey on the
They
run.
may end up getting one or two snaps in the last 120.
So what you're trying to do, a timeout is, oh, okay, it's an injury timeout. One of the flashes is down. You certainly don't want to lose a guy to injury with 1:15 left. His helmet is off and he's holding his forehead.
He is, and if I'm not mistaken, that's your quarterback. All right, we're going to give them a minute to see what's going on out there on the field. We'll be right back from St. Joseph Academy. By the way, the angry mom. Welcome back. The injured player for the Flashes was able to get up under his own power. Got a nice round of applause from this Flashes crowd, who has not enjoyed all of the action out on the field, but they certainly have enjoyed the night. The Eagles are going to take a knee with 105 to play in the game, and I guess it's time for us to start signing off. Brian, as the Flashes continue, they've got a game at Father Lopez next week, and then they'll be playing Christchurch the week after. Uh, what did you see tonight that the Flashes can build upon?
They never stop playing. You know, uh, with no disrespect to the Flashes, this game was a mismatch from the start. When you're playing a team with more than twice as many players, with 15 seniors, we knew going in it was going to be hard to be competitive, and that was before we saw them. We saw a team that operated very cleanly, that had a lot of playmakers, that was well coached. So I love the effort from start to finish. The execution was better. We saw glimpses of playmakers. We saw gang tackling on defense. Those are the little signs that you look for in a team. I didn't see people hanging their heads. I didn't see people quitting. I didn't see a team that was self-destructing. Um, yeah, there were a few penalties, but they were penalties that were mostly effort penalty and not just head scratchers. Oh, this is a poorly coached team penalties. So I think there's a lot to build on. You can't measure this game by the score. That's a very good football team that we played on.
Well, the score that you are referencing is Legacy Charter 41, the St. Joe Flashes 0. On behalf of our producer, Ricky Teasley, Ted Bianculli, and CJ Emerson, my co-host is Brian Ott. My name is Todd DiClementi, and this has been Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. Good night, everybody, and go Flashes.